Well, welcome to Pest Harry's Backyard Chat. It's a beautiful evening. I mean, I'm sitting in the shade. I'm watching my grandson's puppy over there. He's playing with everything he can get his hands on. And he's just a big baby. I'm getting attached to him already. But I'm trying to get him calmed down some. I think I'm trying to calm down a lot from the first day till now. And he still jumps on you, but not quite as often, not quite as bad. Still nips at you, but not quite as often. He understands now. He's understanding, I think, what no actually means. I mean, don't do it. We don't want you to. No, don't do that. No. But anyway, I want to talk to you about the prayer eggs. Prayer eggs. You had a prayer egg? Nah. I know. I know what it sounds like, and it had nothing to do with Easter, that's for sure. But a prayer egg, huh? Yeah. Well, someone once wrote that just outside the kitchen window, a robin had built its nest under the eaves of our patio roof. So I loved watching her tuck grass into safe spots and then hunker down to incubate her eggs. Each morning, I'd check her progress, but each morning there was nothing. The robin's eggs take time. It takes 2 weeks to hatch. Such impatience isn't new for me, he said. He said, I've always strained against the work of waiting, especially in prayer. My husband and I waited nearly 5 years to adopt our first child, decades ago. Author Christine Marshall wrote, prayer, like eggs, don't hatch as soon as we lay them. You see, the prophet Habakkuk, here in Habakkuk chapter 2, and I'm going to read this to you, starting at verse number 1. I will stand upon my watch and sit me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am approved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though I tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, and it will not tarry. You see, the Lord is giving Habakkuk a vision. And in his vision, he's telling Habakkuk that this vision is going to come. And when it does, that he's to write down everything he sees on these tablets to keep them, record them. And he's going to share them. And surely when people see them, they're going to run that readeth it. Now, I'm sure that means they're going to run to tell everybody what the Lord had said when he had spoken and said, because it's going to be the truth, and the Lord does not lie. It will surely come, and it will not tarry. So he's saying that unlike all those other gods and all those false prophets and false visions and things that may never come to pass, it's not going to be like mine. He said, mine's going to come to pass, and my prophecy will speak up, and will speak a truth, and these things will come to pass. But the problem was, it was 6 decades later when that vision came to pass. That Babylon had ceased, and taken the northern and the southern kingdoms into captivity for 70 years. And they were kept there. And of course that was basically due to a debt they owed God. You read in Jeremiah when he talks about they have not let the land rest. Every seventh year was the Sabbath year. And so they wouldn't plant anything. And so that following harvest, they didn't take anything because there was nothing to take. And then, of course, the following year they would plant, and then following that, the harvest, they would take a crop. But there was 490 years had went by, and Israel had forgot the Lord. They had forgot the Sabbath. Now, you may get by with that with one another. But see, God don't forget. God said, you owe me 70 years. Every seventh year was the Sabbath. 490 years went by. You never kept one Sabbath. You see, you wonder how that happens, but it happens. It starts by one person. You could look over and your neighbor's planting that year, and you're saying, what? He's going to hell. He's going to hell. You can't do that. God said again. But his crops were great that following year. And you're looking there, you don't have anything. He's got everything. And that might have been the best crop he had in I don't know how long. The devil's going to help you with that one. So you say, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And the next time the Sabbath came around, you went ahead and planted like your neighbor did. Then your other neighbor did. Then another neighbor did. And all of a sudden, everybody's doing it. And that's how bad things get started. One person disobeys God and does something. Someone else does, and someone else does, and everybody's doing it. And they think it's all right because everybody's doing it. Nothing wrong with it. But see, God hadn't forgot what he told you. God don't forget. And God doesn't lie. So, and when he said you're going to keep that Sabbath, and, you owe a debt, you got to pay it. And of course, you have to do what the Lord asked you to do. And so God put them in captivity, let the land rest for 70 years. And then when they come back, they can start planting again. Hope they learned their lesson. But of course, you know mankind. What does mankind learn from history? Absolutely nothing. They love reading it, but they don't learn anything, do they? You know, you would think if you could learn from your ancestors what they went through, you wouldn't have to go through it. But for some reason, we always think we can do it better. And usually that's not the case. But what the point is here, this prayer egg, is that sometimes it takes a long time for the answer to come. That egg, you don't get a baby as soon as you lay that egg. It has to be incubated for a couple of weeks, and then the baby comes forth. The funny thing is, the whale, and the seal. And the seal has its baby every year. But, and the seal has them, and it has them again, and of course the whale, she's not having hers. So, they go to the whale, what's wrong, whale? Where's your baby? And the whale says, it's not ready yet. What do you mean it's not ready? I've had lots of babies. Yeah, but you see, you're a seal. I'm a whale. When my baby comes, it's going to be a big deal. And we only get one every 9 years. And so, that's big doings for us. And so, but that's the way it is. Prayer doesn't come overnight. Sometimes God sits on it and has to incubate. He has to work out all the details to make it happen and to bring it to pass. And all the details just don't fall in line sometimes, And I think there are times that God can't answer our prayers the way we'd like to see him answered because he can't change some things to help us. So he has to let some things happen so that, his will is fulfilled. And he just can't stop and say, okay, I can fix this, fix that, fix this. Sometimes I think he looks and he says, I could probably fix that, but nothing I can do about it. This has to run its course. This has to happen for this to happen and for this to come about. And so he has to let it go. Don't get your feelings hurt if God didn't answer your prayer the way you thought he should. But he will answer it. Sometimes he'll give you something to replace it. Sometimes he'll let you know that he heard it, he feels your pain, but this is the way it has to be. Sometimes he'll comfort you through it. Now I know that
somebody got my card number and took every bit of my